Morning, folks. Got a pretty good pine here, just about 3 foot on the stump. Anyway, wanted to share with you guys a little something. A lot of people will say not to do a soft Dutchman. Well, the reason why sometimes you have to do a soft Dutchman if you don't want a wedge is you'll come so far back with your Dutchman, and when you start cutting on this thing, it'll start setting into that Dutchman, but then it'll stall out. You know, anything over 4 or 5 inches, that tree will start coming around, and then it'll stall and rock back, and so then you got a wedge on it. If you cut a Dutchman, another Dutchman in under it, you know, and depending on how far you've had to come around with your Dutchman, sometimes it takes a couple extra kerfs in there, but that'll keep the momentum going. And yeah, it puts quite a bit of strain on the hinge. So usually when I do things like that, I'll either run a scissor wheel or what I call a pull notch, which would be just cutting straight out here and then just taking a big old block, square block out of this side of the face. And then so this thing was leaning about right there is where it wanted to go pretty hard, and I needed it to come up here, and you can see there's no wedge marks or anything in there. I come quite a ways around with that first Dutchman to get it to start setting, and so it would pull on around, and so I knew that I had to put a second kerf in there if I didn't want to have to beat my guts out on this thing. And then the other thing I'll do too is, you see where I bored in here, you know, and there's 4 inches of wood there. And it takes an awful lot of lean to break that much wood, especially in these pine. But anyway, you know, that's why I do that sometimes, is because it really saves you from having to wedge it. Gets that tree to set, and then it'll carry that momentum around as it closes up on that first Dutchman. Then it's still got another one to keep pulling it on around, and then you'll lay right out where you need to go. I've been on the skidder for about 2 weeks now, and so this is my first day back cutting, and got a pretty nice stand of timber down in here. I'm going to be bouncing back and forth between cutting and skidding. And so anyway, I don't know if you guys can see my pickup down there, but I'm working in the back here and going to start getting my way back toward the pickup. I've cut around this hillside over here. Around that way is where I started this morning. I'm working my way around here, and I'll get up into this draw and then just start cutting on my way back toward the pickup here. But yeah, it's a good stand to cut in. This was thinned 8 or 9 years ago, pre-commercial thin, so it's got its beautiful and open, pretty good go. You got to start in the back like this when you're cutting tree length. For the processor, you know, like this stuff, I'll buck a 33 out of this and then mark it at 16.6, and the processor can buck it when he gets in there. But and then same with that. But most anything that the processor can handle, leave them whole. And then even some of these, I don't know, I'll probably leave that one whole too, because up there at 16, the processor can get his head around it and buck it. And so we're trying to do this without having to clean too much brush up when we get done. But anyway, we'll take another look at this when I get done at the end of the day. So, all right. Thanks for tuning in.